All right, you guys, got my man Jaden here. We're gonna have some fun. We're about to change his hair dramatically today. It's gonna be totally red, like my gloves, which is good because the Bills just won 4-0. So I'm trying to wear the red shoes, wear the red outfits. You know, maybe I'll put some red in my hair too while we're at it. Nah. So, all right, you guys have seen him on the video before. Let's get started.
All right, so I'm just gonna kind of section him out. It doesn't have to be perfect because when I put the color in, I'm just gonna leave some of his roots. I want some of that darkness to still be there. I want to have that contrast for the fade too. I don't want it to go like directly into no blonde hair or just red hair because the blend will look a little better with the darker hair. So I'm just gonna put these little hair grippers to just give me an idea. And once I get some of the lightener in there, it's going to help me separate it anyways, so it's going to be pretty cool. So I'm just going to grab a bowl and put a little bit of 30 volume in here. We're going to mix about 1 scoop, and I'm just going for consistency here. It doesn't really matter how wet or dry you like it. You don't really need to follow too many instructions with this. His hair was going to lift pretty quick. I'm going to go through each section and just paint and leaving out the roots. Of course, if you did paint the roots right now, you would definitely have some hot roots, so you don't want to do that. So yeah, man, I'm just going to rock and roll. I'm going to paint this up. I'll show you guys what's going on here in a second.
Makeshift bag action here. A little, I guess I'll just tear off this corner here.
Just taking this bag and I'm going to push it down on his scalp just so I could get some of that heat from his scalp to help lift that color.
The heat of his scalp is going to activate some of the hydrogen peroxide. It's going to let this bleach lift his hair, hopefully in one step, probably 2. While I'm waiting for his hair to process, there's no reason for me to not start the sides, so I'm going to start the sides and then I'll come back to it after I do a shampoo.
Taking that number 2 down with the grain, trying to keep some of that darkness towards the top, and then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to use it up against the grain. And using the number 2 on the detachable is definitely going to help me knock it down and give me a good length to start with. And I'm going to be doing him a Mohawk fade, so I don't want to be sitting around just waiting for color to process. I want to be able to take action, kind of handle as much as I can at one time, and get him as close to done as I can, because again, I'm doing this during a normal day, trench work, and you know, this is the type of stuff we try to do. So I'm gonna take my Gamma Evos, they're putting in a nasty line, and I'm gonna wipe out all that hair at the bottom, making sure I get that stuff that's attached to his ear. And this is actually one of the very few times where I won't use the detachable to remove the bulk, because it's just a little bit easier and more ergonomic to use a trimmer when I'm not skinning so much too. So once I got that, I'm going to fit that around the back just a tiny bit and do the same thing on this other side. And I'm just keeping it angled, keeping it arched. And you guys always ask questions about like, how do I do this Mohawk fade or a high taper or a high fade? The steps are always the same. It's just how you put your guides in and how you hold your tools. So going up to the edge of that line, I want to make sure I'm flicking out and away. I want to make sure I'm not leaving too harsh of a line. And I'll tell you guys, the Gamma Wireless Prodigy is probably one of the easiest tools to blend with. It cuts super close. It's real gentle on the skin and very easy to blend with. So we're going to get him blended out.
All right, you guys, so I've been working on this haircut just a little bit, but I'm going to check the top. You want to check the top and see how bright it's getting. I had a feeling he might lift quick. Yeah, he's talking about shaving a little bit. I've seen that. And you can see he's lifting. He's probably somewhere around the levels 7, 8. So I'm going to let it keep going. If we get lucky, maybe I could do this all in one go, but I still do kind of expect to have to do it twice. I'm going to keep working on this haircut, and we'll circle back.
Wishful thinking, Ed. You are not going to get it done in one step. So let's keep working on this blend. I got the open taper, Gamma Ergos. This thing just wipes out the lines pretty easy. And I'm going to begin clicking this lever and moving down slightly. I was kind of trusting the autofocus on this one, and overall I think it did a pretty good job. But you're going to see it pulses a lot. I switched to the number 1, open, then closed. And I'm going to get the blend as smooth as I can without getting too deep into those top lengths. Go to the 1 1/2. We got it open, and then we'll close it. and we're gonna get this thing blended out pretty good. Now I've trapped the blade, I've trapped the blend, so I'm gonna come back with the 1, come back with the half. So that's the deal. I knew that I went up to the 1 and 1/2, so I knew I was safe to come in underneath with the 1 open, 1 closed, go back to the half open, half closed. So I worked my steps in forwards, and I worked them back in reverse. So again, with the open taper, just following that same arching line. There's not a whole lot I can do to the back right now, so I'm not too worried about that. I can shape that up once I get this color out of here. But again, just working my way down until it's all the way closed and that line comes right out. And many of you guys are always kind of a few steps ahead of yourself. Like, don't be in such a hurry to switch guards. Make sure that your blend is looking smooth and neat before you move on. And that way you won't have such a bad cleanup process. And whenever you see that you made mistakes, just don't be afraid to kind of return a step or two, just like you just seen me do right there. And then I'll go back in with the 1 and 1/2 open, 1 and 1/2 closed, 1 open, 1 closed. And that's a wrap on this side.
Oh, Hector's the man who's the reason why the water's cold in here. You're gonna have warm water maybe if you get some sun in time. Got it. Nah, you ain't getting no warm water. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go wash it out. Not very warm. Dude, that autofocus is so good. I'm just trusting it.
Oh yeah, it's cold. Damn.
Oh, yeah. This will be real cold. Sorry. It's gonna be cold. Pretty dramatically different though. Big change. Big change. Exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to keep some of the darkness around his scalp. Not too concerned about it bleeding a little bit on the middle or on the inside of his hair, but like as long as it's gonna look good around the blend and the edge. And then the cool thing is when he starts growing his hair back, the rest of that hair will start catching its way up. So I could actually put the red directly on this, but I could see it's just a little bit dark in the back still. So I'm just gonna mix up a little bit more bleach, run through, and do this just one more time. Then it'll get bright and we'll be good to go. So I'm gonna dry them up real quick. You can see it's still a little coppery. It's pretty damn bright, but it's just not quite bright enough. So that's why I'm gonna do this one more time. Throw a little bit more bleach in there. And this next time around, it's gonna be super bright, pretty close to like almost level 9, level 10. Then when we put in the red, it's really gonna take, it's gonna be super, super vibrant. It's really gonna pop. Let's take you to bleach mixing school real quick. This is just 30 volume, and I'm not measuring nothing. I just wanna make sure I feel the right consistency. That's always how I've done it, and you guys can use pretty much any type of powder lightener you want. Get one that's blue, it's gonna lift you the quickest. With like a scoop or two of this, we're gonna mix this up, and before you know it, you could be the real Slim Shady. Alright, so yeah, so alright. Now any mistakes that you might have made the first time around, you can actually catch them in the second time. So like if you have any areas that you didn't cover well or whatever you did, just make sure you want to hit them. But like for the most part, I really like the line that I got going here. So I'm gonna try my best to keep it right about where it's at. So mainly I'm just concerned about the perimeter. On the inside, you could pretty much make it as thick as you want, but the perimeter you want to be a little more careful with. And you guys will see I'll go through the inside. So I'm just gonna go paint the perimeter here. Get them nice and saturated so it gets nice and bright, especially in the front. Like if you're gonna make a mistake too, you do not want the mistake to be in the front. That's right where the client's gonna look every day of their life. Which is why, like, what I used to tell people when we were teaching color is if you have to remix a complicated formula, that's why we'll always do the front 2 panels first, so that if you have a mismatch, it's in the back and the client's less likely to see it or be bothered by it. I like the consistency to be a little bit runny because it thickens afterwards, and I'm able to like saturate his hair a little better. So now is where I'll go through each section. All right, so I'm gonna section through just to make sure that I got it thoroughly saturated, especially here in the back. This is them areas that were not quite as bright as the rest, and just paint it right on down. It's all good. If you get the scalp in here at this point, it's cool. We're not going to leave this one on quite as long as before. I'll just make my little sections through. At this point, like once I get this all washed off and stuff, if I got some mismatch in my color, whatever, I still got some hair I want to cut to really dial it in. So it's gonna be easy.
While we're waiting for that color to process a second time, I'll start at the middle and work my way out to the edges. I'm just trying to give it like a rough outline. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'll follow it up with the razor, but this is pretty much all I can do during this second process because I got most of the cut done. So until I have the full ability to cut the top, just want to get whatever we can done while we wait and get him ready to go.
All right, so as for the color we're about to put in there, this is Manic Panic. It's like the color of blood. And I've actually used this stuff quite a few times. The colors are super, super vibrant. He was going to get a different one. What'd I tell you, Jaden?
He said not that one. He said only Manic Panic.
Only get Manic Panic, just because I know that this stuff works really good. It gives you some seriously vibrant, bright colors. And I guess I'm going to have to fight to get the lid off because my hands are wet. But that's what we're about to put in it. All right, his hair didn't get like a crazy amount brighter, but it got rid of all that copper. So that's exactly what I wanted it to do. We're good. We're gonna get this out. Your hair might feel a little bit like straw, but I got a little conditioner we'll put in here afterwards.
Alrighty.
And the other cool thing is, like, even though your hair might feel a little bit like straw now, the demi-permanent that we're about to put in is actually sort of a conditioning thing, so like it's not damaging. All right, so I just want to towel blot this, remove the moisture the best that I can, and I'm actually going to put that Manic Panic on right here at the sink. Being that it's a red, it's not really going to impact the rest of his hair at all. If you get it on there, you do still want to be like sort of neat, so I'll have him sit up so I could do the back part. But we'll start right here with him in the sink. I'll have you sit up in a minute. Okay. So I just want to try to remove all the moisture that I can. You don't have to get them completely dry. How you doing?
So now you can get it through his hair. Try to be neat. Try not to stain his skin because you'll create extra work for yourself. You can get it out with a color remover, so I just keep one on my station, but just paint it in.
In all reality, it'd probably be good if I wash this out right now, but I'm going to give him like 10 minutes. Just let it process, let it get as bright as it can get, and that's where we'll leave it. Then we'll come back, we'll finish up his haircut. He'll be good to go. All right, you guys, about to wash the rat out. Bet you want to see how it's going to look, right? So do I. All right, if I do say so myself, this thing is bright, man. It's bright.
Okay, back to the haircut. Let's just use a little clipper over comb. I'm going to lift out, scoop, cut, get rid of some of that hair that's bothering me, and we can now kind of fix in the neck area, kind of line that up, and just do that little touch-up stuff that I couldn't do before, and we're just going to knock that out. So just kind of retracing some of my other steps on the other side. Same thing, clipper over comb is definitely going to help you to fit in the Mohawk fade, especially Mohawk fades. It's really easy to blend them with clipper over comb. It can be kind of difficult with some of the guards. And now I know I can go up a little bit higher. I can handle that area above the ear, and that's always a trouble spot. So don't be afraid to spend a little extra time there if you have to. And we're gonna return to some scissor over comb and some texturizing shears to also just use every advantage we can to just make this hair lay. If anybody's worked with this type of hair, it's super fine. It shows every little mistake that you make, and it's super, super curly. So his hair can be really challenging to blend to begin with, and then when you add in the contrasting colors and stuff like that, it can get really difficult. So just try your best to detail each and every area, and yours will come out just as clean as mine. And once we're done, one of the other cool things, we're going to add some enhancements to it, and that's going to fill in a lot of those little light spots that he has naturally, and we'll rock and roll right on through this. So you're going to see this end result start to really come alive in this spot, and it really starts to show off the blend. It shows off the difference in the contrast and the color. And I'm using a product called High Beams. I'll link it in the description. It actually just comes in a can. You don't even need no compressor, no nothing. You can literally just spray this in, and it looks great. It's sort of a mixture of color and fibers, and it can really get you an awesome cut, an awesome view of your cut. And you know, it's one of those things where, like, you can see he has a lot of little spots that show up weird when the hair's not combed the right way and stuff like that. This will fill in all those spots, all those little gaps, and it's how you can achieve some really Really cool results, really good pictures, and you can run with the best of them on Instagram without having to Photoshop your cuts or anything like that. Like, this is just as good as it can be, and I absolutely love doing stuff like this. So it's just a blast for me to be able to kind of break out of the normal routines and just do something crazy and fun like this. And the Gamma hitters are just really putting in work on this cut. They really worked well with this type of hair. Really enjoyed using them as well. And I'm just going to tip this and angle this and try to get them corners sharp. And I'm going to take my high beams and I'm just going to spray a little bit, kind of fill in some of them little light spots towards the top, so it really gets my blend looking blurry, and the rest of the edge is all coming out nice. I like the transition from the red hair to the dark. So, you know, we're kind of making moves here. So, and then at the very last, he wanted me to throw in a little line, so I just decided to throw in a little line, and just on the one side there, just give him a little swag, and then we'll follow it up with a little color pencil action, and we'll just fill that in. But you guys can kind of see how these trimmers are hitting. They're working really nice. They're giving me exactly what I want. I love when I love when they just cut a nice thin line like that. Like, I hate when you put a trimmer down and it just creates a roadway. Like these, you can be really detailed with. Follow that up with the razor, of course, and then I'll follow that up with the color pencil. And you guys gotta let me know what you think about this, man. Like, do you guys want to see more stuff like this, more off the wall stuff? Leave it in the comments. Let me know what you think. And you know, if you guys want to see more color, man, I'd be more than happy to do it. Just let me know if you guys want me to rock and roll on some more of this type of stuff. All right, you guys, the YouTube Barber Academy. I'm Mr. Eddie Barber, and I'm out of here. Peace.